They don't call themselves villains. They don't see the Endarkenment as evil. But make no mistake, whether they wear suits, uniforms, robes, or hoodies, whether they fly flags or build apps, the Axis of Endarkenment are servants of entropy. And I'm not talking about entropy as a physics term. I'm talking about civilizational entropy, the tyranny, the original enemy, the force that dissolves life, not by fire, but by erosion, not by chaos, but by control. Entropy doesn't need to look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like stagnation. Sometimes it looks like a spreadsheet. Sometimes it looks like peace. The kind of peace where nothing grows, nothing moves, nothing becomes. The Endarkenment serves this entropy not by destroying society, but by freezing it, by locking us into a permanent present, by strangling the future so slowly we forget it was ever ours to shape. They hate becoming, because becoming is unpredictable, because it requires freedom, because it threatens control. The Enlightenment said that the mind of man could comprehend the universe, that reason and liberty were not opposites, but partners, that to be free was to grow, to know, to actualize. Eudaimonia was the end goal, not just survival, not submission, but flourishing as conscious being, as self-authored lives. The Endarkenment rejects that. They believe people are too stupid, too dangerous, too chaotic to be trusted with freedom. So they cloak control in sophistication. They wrap obedience in algorithms. They replace virtue with branding and call it value. But the truth is simple. They have chosen entropy as their master because entropy is easy. It doesn't ask for vision. It doesn't demand courage. It just wants you to stop trying. They don't build futures. They manage decay. They don't fear revolution. They fear imagination. They don't fear collapse. They fear awakening. And what they fear most isn't rebellion or resistance. It's the return of first principles, the reignition of the Enlightenment, the reminder that systems are not sacred, that hierarchy is not inevitable, that power can be re-engineered, dignity restored, liberty designed into infrastructure. They fear that people might start asking why things are the way they are and what it would take to change them. That's why the tyranny must be named, because once you see entropy for what it is, not just disorder, but the absence of possibility, then you realize the fight isn't between left and right, rich and poor, even freedom and tyranny. The real fight is between becoming and entropy, between those who believe life is sacred and those who believe life is manageable, between those who build systems that nurture human potential and those who believe control is good enough. The Axis of Endarkenment wants you to believe the future is closed, that we've reached the end of history, that all that's left is management, survival, optimization, but the Enlightenment never ended. It was interrupted. And now, in the ruins of neoliberal decay, it's waking up. We are not servants of entropy. We are its counterforce. And that means rejecting stagnation, not with chaos, but with design, with consciousness, with sovereignty, with the living architecture of a civilization that knows its purpose is not to preserve itself, but to unlock life's full potential. The Axis has no vision beyond the maintenance of power, but we do. And that vision begins with one undeniable truth. The future is not inherited. It is built.